Hey everyone, I'm back and today we're going to be talking about The Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, and this movie is directed by Tobe Hooper, and I really loved this movie, and I really appreciate what this movie was able to pull off, especially for the time, and I really liked where the story went and how disgusting it kind of gets, even though it's not really showing you the violence that happens that is supposed to be happening. It doesn't always show it. It's more implied as to what's happening. Like a chainsaw is like being turned on and it's supposed to be cutting something, and when it's doing something, unless it's for something like a tree or door, it's pretty much implied as to what it's supposed to be doing. It never shows you it cutting through someone. There's none of that. When it comes to human bodies, they never show that, and I think that works better for this movie because if they were to show it, it would probably look pretty goofy, like unintentionally goofy. Our main group of characters, they were fine. There were a couple characters that I found to be kind of annoying. Like the first two characters they were the first two characters to go into the house of the villain. That's all I'm gonna say. Those two characters I found to be the most irritating. There was a guy in a wheelchair. Out of all of the protagonists in the film, I would say he was my favorite. I found him to be the most likable out of all of them. And of course, characters are making stupid decisions, but it didn't really bother me all too much for this movie because of what eventually happens to them is kind of satisfying. Without spoiling anything, obviously. I thought Leatherface was a great villain, and I think in every scene that he's in this movie, I think is great, and I think that antagonist of the film is definitely a highlight, and it's one of the best parts of the movie. And I like the design of the house from the inside, and it's pretty disgusting. And there are also some things that are left up to interpretation. And I really like how everything is presented visually. It's not relying on dialogue, and it doesn't over-explain the characters' pasts. Like they just recap everything about this character, and you get caught up on everything that they've done in their lives. This movie doesn't do any of that. The characters are kind of expandable, but there's still... I would much rather see them survive than die, or at least some of them, which kind of carries the movie for me. In terms of its story, without getting into spoilers, it doesn't really start to get going until a half hour into the movie, but once it gets going, it doesn't stop, and that's what I love about it, and it's really engaging, and it's just really terrifying at times. And this is definitely a movie that really scared me at points. And Leatherface is definitely it's pretty scary running away from someone who has a chainsaw. And you can just tell whenever he's getting close to you, getting close to any of the characters from the chainsaw alone, because they are pretty loud. And the louder the chainsaw is, the closer Leatherface is to you. And it does make for one really intense chase scene in this movie that I loved. Know this going into this movie is pretty slow for the first half hour, but just be patient with it because it will get going, and once it gets going, it doesn't stop. And that would be my only, I guess, warning if you're going to watch this movie, is that it does take a while to get going, but once it does, it really pays off. And that's about all I have to say about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's great, it's a classic, I really loved it, and I would highly recommend that you check this movie out, and I'm going to give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre down below. And my social media links, they will all be in the description down below, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Dark Knight. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.